Are you looking for affordable land in New Mexico? Today I have 3 lots, all of which are priced under $6,000. Let's take a look. So all of these properties are in Luna County, New Mexico. So quickly, let's take a look at where they are. And Luna County is southern New Mexico. It is just outside of the town of Deming, which is the county seat. And as you can see from drone footage, this is an area with sort of expansive desert views. These are rural desert lots, so you get space, privacy, wide open space, as you can see from this drone video here. But it is a rural area, so you are not going to get city utilities. This would be an off-grid lot if you wanted to build. All of these would be off-grid lots if you wanted to build, but you do get space, privacy, and affordability. All right, so backing up, you can find all of these properties at our website, which is land.gocap.com. And I am not a real estate agent. I have a company that buys and sells vacant land. As of now, we have helped close to 700 people become landowners by selling affordable properties. Now, because I'm not a real estate agent, I only sell properties that my company owns. I am able to offer owner financing on all properties I sell, including these 3 lots. So that helps make the properties even more affordable. Right. So as I said, all of these lots are priced under $6,000, but we do also offer owner financing to make the cost that you pay up front far lower than that. And I'll cover the terms in a little bit for owner financing, but I do want to get into some of the details about the properties. Okay, so these 3 properties, there are 2 1-acre properties and 1 2-acre property. And you can find them. Did I do a manual search instead of using your fancy search? All right. Well, let's search Luna County. So we actually have a number of properties in Luna County right now. Today, I'm going to cover property 813, 812, and 806. Quick note, these numbers are not the official lot numbers or the legal description. Don't expect to find it on the deed. Don't use these numbers when calling the county. These are just our internal numbering system. But if you wanted to find the properties on our website, there are property numbers 806, 812, and 813. Now I am going to actually start at 806. This is our 2-acre property. So this one is the largest of the 3 lots, giving you a little more space. And you can see from the location here that we are actually in kind of an agricultural area. You can see that there are a number of properties that are being farmed in the nearby vicinity. There is a small town nearby, so a few amenities in the immediate vicinity, including a church and an antique shop. But we are just south of Deming, which is close by. Deming is the county seat, and it has a number of amenities, including a small airport, shopping, like grocery stores. There's a supermarket. So yeah, a McDonald's, so you know you're in civilization. So all the amenities you might need. We're also right next to Florida Peak and the Florida Mountains Wilderness area. So that would be the big draw here, is being by the mountains, by a more undeveloped natural desert area for anyone who's looking for like a recreational lot, a lot where you are kind of out there, get more of a natural vibe, or this would also be people buy these lots for investment, to hold on to, see as if the area grows. And I will mention that there are people living out here. You can see homes in the nearby vicinity. There are a number of farms, like I mentioned. So some of these lots do become agricultural lots. People are building out, growing out here, growing various crops. So yes, people do build in and live in this area. A nice thing about all of these lots in Luna County is that according to our research, there's also no zoning, which means that you have very few restrictions here on what you can use the property for. That's a big draw, I know, for many land buyers. So that's one thing that brings people out here. So that means building home, agriculture, even, I mean, if you wanted to, even commercial, if there's no zoning, would be allowed in this zoning designation. Although I do always recommend that you confirm all of this with the county. And the other nice thing that people like about Luna County is that they are fairly RV friendly. So according to our research, you can use an RV for 30 consecutive days each year. You do need a permit for this. So that's one permit. The other permit you can get allows you to live for up to 240 consecutive days for the year. So this is actually, out of all the counties that we work in, this is one of the counties that has some of the most lenient RV restrictions. So a lot of people like to buy lots here if they own an RV and they're looking for a spot where they can park an RV for a longer amount of time. Just keep in mind that these are rural properties and they would be off-grid. So you're looking at well and septic system if you build out here. And the other reason people like to pick up lots in Luna County is that the taxes are very low. So not only is the upfront cost affordable, but to hold on to the property is very affordable as well. This particular 2-acre property has annual taxes of only about $72. So those are the big draws for Luna County, and that applies to all of the 3 properties that we're looking at today. So again, here you can see some images from this particular property. This is the largest of the 3 at 2 acres. And there's actually a home right nearby. You see the road is in quite good condition. Let's go back to the drone footage so we can take a closer look at it. Now we do start all of our drone footages with a panoramic view on the ground, so you get a sense of what it looks like. And you can see the homes and the farms in the area, as well as the views of the mountains. So it's a very pretty area. Road is in good condition. It is a dirt road, but it is in very good condition. There's a home two lots over, so you know that people are building here. And there are power lines here, so it'd be well and septic, but you would have power in this area. And you do get the wide open feel. This would be a lot for someone who really does want to be in sort of open country where you have more privacy, fewer neighbors. All right. And then I'm going to pull up the other 2 properties so we can take a look at their images, and then I'm going to cover some of the additional details like wetlands, special hazard flood zone, all those things that you might not think about, but you would want to know about if you're buying property. All right, so now I'm pulling up parcel number 812 on our website. It's 1 acre. So this is also Luna County. And for reference, we are a little bit closer to Deming here. You're on the north edge of the Florida mountains. And we are in an area, this is a quiet subdivision, still pretty private, spaced out, but there are a number of homes here, as you can see. And here you get the mountain views. You can see the homes of the people who've built nearby. And let's take a look at the drone footage. This also, like the other properties, has no zoning, same RV regulations. So this is a nice panoramic. You actually see, I think that might be the sunrise. And this also has access via a maintained dirt road. It's in good condition. Actually a corner lot. It's bordered by 2 roads. Some people really like corner lots. And you can see the homes in the background, people who are building. There is a homestead nearby as well. So a lot of people do homesteading in these areas. Affordable way to live. Be a little more self-sufficient away from the city. And for reference, let's take a look at 813 so you can see its location. Similar in location to 812, we're on the north end of the Florida mountains in the same general sort of, I say subdivision, doesn't mean that there's an HOA or any regulations, just, referring to the immediate surroundings. So also near in an area where a number of people have built homesteads. And let's take a look at the drone footage. Now this one does have access via a road, which looks to be in a little rougher condition, but we can see the panoramic view as well. Our photographer was able to access the property, so the road was good enough to access. You can see images here. And there are the homesteads in the background of other people who've built out here. Okay, so now that we've taken a look at each of the three properties, let's pull these up in our due diligence software so we can cover some more technical details that perhaps not everyone thinks about, but which are very important to know when you're buying land, like special hazard flood zone and wetlands. Now, if you need it also, I will say, so I went back to parcel 806. This is the 2 acres in Luna County. If you go to our main listing page, you'll get a lot of good details on the property, including the assessor's parcel number. So this one is actually 4 separate parcels that we're selling together to make for a larger, more desirable lot, give you more space, more freedom. If you did want to do research with the county, you would give them these assessor parcel numbers to have them pull up the lot. And if you wanted to pull the property up in Google Maps, we do have a link to the approximate center point coordinates in Google Maps. You just click on that to pull it up. And this leads me to another important point. If you would like to visit the property, so you happen to be local or you're going to fly into the area, you are more than welcome to visit any of these properties at any time. You don't have to make an appointment, although you can always call us beforehand to ask questions and go over logistics or details. But if you did want to visit, you can just use that link to the approximate center point coordinates in Google Maps to get directions to the property. Right, so I am going to pull this property up in our due diligence software to run it through some of the basic checks we do whenever we purchase a property. All right, so here we go. Now let's look at contours quickly, and I'll turn this off. So this is, as you could tell from satellite images, a very flat lot. That's good for building. There is no federal land in the immediate vicinity, but again, the Florida mountains are just to the east, and that is a big chunk of public land with recreation opportunities. And there is no special, there, I spoke too soon. This one actually is in a special hazard flood zone. So I do just want to highlight that. You can call the county to see if that requires any special considerations, but there have been people who have built in this segment that is in a special hazard flood zone. So it would not prevent building. And there are no wetlands here. Now that is important because it is very hard to build on wetlands. They're actually more difficult than a special hazard flood zone. And we'll look at soils too, because you do need to put in a septic. So with septic, soils are very important. Out here in the Southwest, it's a little less of a concern. Desert soils are not as much of a problem, in my understanding. but you do want some sense of the soils if you're going to install a septic system. And this lot does have similar soils to the surrounding area where homes have been built, so that is a good sign for a septic. All right, so this was parcel 806. It's 2 acres. And just as a reminder, this is one that is just at the border near the Florida Mountains Wilderness area. It is in to the south of Deming in kind of agricultural area. So there are homes nearby and a number of farms. So let's take a look at 812 and 813. These are both a little closer to Deming and a little more to the east. They're both 1 acre. And this property, I'm at 812, is actually 2 lots that we're selling together, again, to give you a little more space and freedom. Also, we want to make sure that you have a lot that is large enough to meet minimum size requirements for a septic system in case you did want to build. And let's look at, let's look at some of the details. Right. So again, flat, this whole area is flat, good for building. And we are also near the Florida mountains with a lot of recreational land. This one does not have a special hazard flood zone. So if that was a concern for you on the other one, we do have a couple properties that are not in a special hazard flood zone. And no wetlands here either. As far as soils, similar soils to the other property, also similar to the surrounding area. And we'll also finish with 813. It's in a similar area to 812, and it is also 2 lots. Same reason, more space, better for ensuring you can get a septic permit. And it's actually right nearby 813 or 812. Actually, and I should say, same soils too. So we bought a number of adjacent lots in this area. So we're selling them separate, but if you did want to combine them into one large property, you're more than welcome to do so as well. Just let us know, give us a call, let us know you're interested in all of the properties. So these 3 here. The other one, if we go back to our main listing page, is 811, I believe, but let me make sure. No, that's a separate property. So it's actually just 812 and 813 that are nearby. You would have to, I spoke too soon, you would have to contact the owner in between these 2 parcels to get a large 3-acre property. But I will say on that note, whenever you buy a property from us, you don't just get a property, you get our Landowner Success Bundle, which comes with 9 free premium bonuses. And one of those bonuses is a neighbor lookup tutorial. So in a case like this, where you might want to expand a property you're buying and get more land, you can look up the neighbor's address and send them a letter letting them know that you're interested in their property. You just bought the adjacent lots and you're interested in their property. And since we're talking about this bundle, so you get that neighbor lookup tutorial to help you do research and get in contact with neighbor. It's very useful if the neighboring properties are vacant, so you're not actually going to meet the neighbor whenever you go visit. So you get that whenever you purchase a property. You also get a post-closing checklist to make sure you're all set up and you all set up for success. You do all of the steps to help you transition smoothly into land ownership. We do provide a building and zoning guide and homesteading guide for free. These are actually both, they're not just simple PDFs. They're, I think, almost 100 pages long each. So I actually took a fair amount of time writing those. But the big draws in the bundle include the restaurant savings card, hotel savings card, and complimentary vacation voucher. So the vacation voucher is valid for a 3-night stay in one of over 50 locations. And these 3 items together are designed to help offset the cost of either visiting the property or taking a vacation to celebrate land ownership. And finally, you can join monthly landowner Q&A calls with me directly, as well as get a 30-minute architectural consultation for free with me because I do have a background in architecture. So all of these bonuses do come free with every purchase. They have a value of about $5,675, and you get them whenever the deed's recorded. So upfront with a cash purchase or at the end of the loan term with owner financing. And that brings me to the topic of owner financing. So first, let's start with price. Now, the 1-acre lots are priced at $2,497 plus the dock fee. So very affordable price. And the 2-acre lot is priced at $5,997 plus the dock fee. And of course, on all of these properties, we do offer owner financing. But you won't see the terms on our website because we don't actually have set owner financing terms. We do like to tailor the terms to meet the needs of each individual buyer. So that means if you are interested in owner financing, please reach out to us to let us know what kind of down payment and monthly payment would work for your budget, and we will come up with terms that make the property affordable for you. There are 2 things, though, that I do want to be upfront about. So first, we can offer lower interest rates for higher down payments. So that's something to keep in mind when you're thinking about, do you have to start talking about financing with price? Just kidding. And Zaphael is here. Where is the air horn? Air horn. Doot, doot, doot. There we go. Abby has too many sound effects. Do we have to start talking about financing with price? All right. Well, I can try to be more creative with that. But yeah, so one thing to keep in mind when you're thinking about budgeting with owner financing is that if you can do a higher down payment, you do get a lower interest rate. The other thing is we do say there's no building on or living on the property until the end of the loan term, and that is for liability reasons. But you can use the property for recreational purposes as long as you're in compliance with all local rules and regulations. And again, in Luna County, they have pretty lax RV, or not lax, but lenient RV regulations. So you would need a permit, but we do allow the property to be used for recreational purposes as long as you're not living full time. And you can make minor improvements, things like fencing, clearing, as long as those improvements don't require a permit. The other thing I'll say is that there's no prepayment penalty. So you can pay off early at any time without additional cost. There's no additional cost. You'll save on interest. And actually, we do have a win cash back offer when you pay off early. So if you pay off in the first 6 months, you'll get 5% cash back on the purchase price. And if you pay off in the first 12 months, you'll get 2.5% cash back on the purchase price. Right? So you'll save on interest, save on the overall purchase price. And once you pay off, you would be able to get started with construction if that's what you wanted to do. So some people make that work by getting a construction loan as soon as they're ready to build and then using that to pay off the owner financing loan. And the other thing I do like to note with owner financing is that in case you are nervous about buying property for the first time and thinking that maybe you're not going to make the right choice, we do offer a 365-day land exchange guarantee. So in that first year of owner financing, if you find another property in our inventory that works better for you, you can exchange this property for the other one. You just need to pay a new dock fee. So that way you know you get the property that you're interested in. All right. So again, you can find all of our properties at land.gocap.com. The 3 we discussed today are number 806, 812, and 813. And if you want to book a call to talk about any of these properties with the team, you can go to book.gocap.com and schedule a call. Also, I am live every day with my partner at 5 p.m. Eastern, so if you want to watch some interesting property reviews, join us. Otherwise, Excuse me. Thank you for listening and have a wonderful afternoon.